All right, there's really only one way to say this. What just happened? The Detroit Lions have just stomped the Dallas Cowboys. As we are saying this, there's 2 minutes left in the game. Chris, I want to get your immediate thoughts, immediate reactions. 47-9 right now, and that will end up being the final score, unless there's another trick play. This was absolutely remarkable.
Yeah, I can't believe this. And the Lions, I just can't believe everything that I saw, because you saw you literally saw everything. And the biggest thing that I noticed was, you just don't see, this is the NFL. The Lions were favored by 3 points. And
yes,
that
which
was
is
like
crazy on the road in the start, right?
Yeah. And it's like, gosh, I don't know if I would bet that, it's kind of crazy. And it's like, that's what we're talking about here. So for the Lions to go in, dominate running, look faster, look bigger, look stronger,
Yep.
look better coached, look
Yep.
top to bottom, all these things, and just to steamroll another NFL franchise, let alone one that's just obviously very serious about how they go about their business in terms
Yep.
of, this is big money business here. And to go into that stadium and just destroy them is really crazy. And we'll get to the other craziness and what we can't believe. But your thoughts on the game, where you at?
Yeah, before we get into the bad news, right?
That's right.
Here's where I'm at. I'm struggling to remember an NFL game that was this much of a beatdown.
Yeah.
Much less an NFL game where it's 2 playoff teams from the year before. 2 teams that are kind of thought to be almost a lock to make the playoffs this year. And then you go on the road and you win by 38. That's insanity to me. I don't understand it. Every single phase of the game was dominated. Every single phase. You said it. Offensive line, best game the offensive line has played. Defensive line, best game the defensive line has played.
Yeah.
Secondary, best game the secondary has played. I mean, CeeDee Lamb coming out of there with the line that he had. Okay, I'll take that. Especially when you lose your best defensive player early in the second half and you still find a way to get pressure on the quarterback. You still find a way to shut the offense down on the other team. It was unbelievable. And to see where we got it, to see just the genius in the play calling of what Ben Johnson was doing, I can't quite find words for it other than that was a lot of fun to watch. It was a lot of fun to watch.
It was so fun. And then, obviously we'll have to touch on the bad news, and we will now. Is just I was thinking this, and I had been thinking this. I can't prove it. I can't prove this. I swear to you, I was thinking, it's too bad the NFL is so it's the NFL and there's injuries, because I'm watching that game and I'm thinking, we have the best personnel, coaches, schemes, and the only thing that could just derail us in a heartbeat is a major injury to one of our key players.
I was thinking it too right before it happened. Yep.
Yeah, because I'm thinking, there's nothing that can stop us. And I was like, well, I mean, injuries, right? We all know that in the back of our minds. And also, I wasn't thinking it at the moment, but I've been thinking it for a while. I was like, Hutchinson, man, he doesn't come off the field. Like, not only does he not miss time from injuries, he doesn't even miss time during the game. And I just kind of admired that about him. And then, so for it all to, again, we all know this, but when it happens one play, it's over. It's just like, oh, it's very hard. And it's just hard. So your thoughts on that?
Yeah. When you watch the Hutchinson thing, it's hard because the game's already in hand. The game's already in hand. And that's, again, why we can't believe what just happened.
That's right.
And because the game itself, I expected us to win by a couple touchdowns. I said for a long time, the last 2 weeks, like, this is one of 2 games where we're the hunters, not the hunted. We're coming. This is a revenge game for us. This game and the 49ers game. And that's it on the entire schedule. That's it. Everybody else, we're the hunted. And so I thought we were going to come in and play really, really well. But at the same time, everything's going well. And I'm watching it with my wife. And I just said to her, I'm like, it kind of feels like there goes the real chance of us winning a Super Bowl. Without him, unless we bring someone in, right? Like, unless we bring someone in, unless we make a trade, unless we do something like, and that's the question you have to ask. Do you have the pieces right now on this defense? They still looked really good, by the way,
Yep.
even after Hutch went out. But eventually, you're going to have a pass rush from all areas. Is our interior defensive line good enough to pass rush from there? Maybe it is. Maybe it is.
It,
It
I,
maybe it
I'm with
is.
you. I guess it's hard not to feel good even after Hutchinson. I know we don't feel good about it, but I'm saying it's I was thinking, gosh, we still might be good enough offensively. We know
We
that,
might
but
be.
I mean, defensively, again, you had to, because they had injuries on the defensive side of the ball, but they well documented that, absolutely. But offensively, this is Dallas Cowboys, Dak, CD, and the Lions. From the first snap, you saw Tom Brady. He said it. Everybody was up, and I love that. We were playing so aggressive this game. You saw the trick plays, all of it. So my point is the defense scheme wise still might be okay. We might have
Might
the
be.
personnel. We could still be okay. It's one player. I hate what saying this because
Mhm.
it is one player, but he is so incredible. I mean, he fully was into the best defensive end in the league. And so
Yes.
so it I know I still need a second to figure out like, man, can we do this without him? I still need a second on it. I want to say we're still can do it, but it's like,
Yeah.
oh man.
I mean, I guarantee one of us is going to be making a "Do the Lions need to go get Hassan Reddick"
Mhm.
video, or "Do the Lions need to trade for?" And right now, like, it's an NFL, it's a business, so eventually you're going to have to go do that. But right now, just talking about Hutch, like, the dude, he was the heart of this team, right?
Mm.
So you need to get another guy. You can't just bring in. I think it would be a mistake to just bring in like a Hassan Reddick. It would be
Yeah.
a mistake just to bring in a random guy because you don't want to mess with what this team has. And look, we know that this defense has a revamped and improved secondary. And that secondary was really good today, Chris. Really good.
Oh,
And I mean, like, if Terry and Arnold is starting to play football without committing pass PIs every single game, uh, and you can look at this defensive backfield and say, hey, maybe this can be the backbone of this defense. We can play good in the back end and get enough pressure to make it happen.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, but
It's
it
I
was
that's why
nuts.
I couldn't believe what I was seeing out there
Yep.
because you said it defensively, the secondary. Tom Brady said what we were saying last week. It's like when you're going to get handsy and you're going to
Mhm.
get physical, that's how you play, then you're going to give up penalties. And so there was a couple like you're waiting like are they going to throw a flag and when they don't throw the flag it's like dude, we are let's
Yeah.
go baby. And
Yeah.
I think they
You
did
can throw it
improve a
every
little bit.
time.
Yeah, and so man, you can't run the ball on us. You can't throw the ball on us. And so Aaron Glenn, I couldn't believe what I was seeing how dominant the defense was even
Absolutely.
after Hutch went out. But yeah, that's one we're gonna just have to. I
It was
agree with you.
interesting to see. The defense was even more dominant after
Mm,
Hutch went out, and I'm not talking about the back half of the 4th quarter when backups were in and stuff like that. I'm saying, like, to watch Aaron Glenn's immediate adjustment to start running shifts and to
mm,
start running different things, um, on the defensive front. Like, it was amazing to watch how quickly he did that. It's like, all right, fine. We're not going to just get our pressure from the outside. We're going to create it from multiple places. And it was really cool
mhm.
to watch some of that happen. And it was fine. The problem is if you do too many of those, it makes you more vulnerable to the run and things like that.
Yeah,
So
but
we'll see
here's the
what that
last
looks
thing.
like.
Here's the last thing I couldn't my eyes couldn't believe what I was seeing was
Okay.
the trick plays to the offensive lineman. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel I don't know
Feels like
what I mean by
cheating.
right, but it just feels like can we is this too risky? Are we like what did you think about you had the hook and lateral to
Panay.
Sewell, you had a little just a contested thing to Decker.
Decker.
Like what were your
Yep.
thoughts on the offensive lineman trying to do that?
It kind of felt like we were playing Madden and we didn't care if we were running the score up on somebody. They
Yes.
just kept running our offense, which I always say that's what you need to do because teams just start running the ball. You know what they're going to do. There's 9-man boxes, not even 8, 9.
Mhm.
And so it's like, all right, you got to do unique things. I could have done without all the trick plays, but now if teams have to plan for that, that's kind of
That's right.
funny.
We got everything.
We
It
always
shows
say
me
that.
that shows me we got more tricks, right? It's not like, oh shoot, I guess we just used our 4 trick plays that we practiced all year. We got 10 more, baby. I love it.
Yes. Yes. We got a ton. So now let's have some fun here. Let's just talk. What do the people want to talk about, Chris?
Well,
Like let's
I
go
want
there.
all lines to wear. Thank you, David.
Oh, it's Lampman. Nice. What's up, man?
You're so thoughts on this, Craig, is this could be a situation, and I hope that it is, where it's kind of this isn't as serious as the Mike Utley, but it's like another, hey, let's kind of get together
Mhm.
type of deal, right? I think that's the only option you have. And so I don't know. We'll see how it all pans out. But I mean, it's obviously huge to lose Hutch.
Yeah, it's huge. It is huge to lose Hutch. I mean, and here's the thing. You said this too. You said that you were struggling and you were wondering if like someone you were worried someone was going to get hurt. I was too. I was thinking it was going to happen on the offensive side of the ball. I really did. And it's interesting because you've never been more relaxed, but at the same time, you felt like something terrible is about to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this defense is good enough,
Yep.
but there's going to be some shootout wins that we have to win. This offense that was a top 5 offense each of the last 2 years is going to need to be like a top 2 or 3 offense, if not the best offense in the league. And I think they can be it because the missing link in this offense that they did not have last year, I think it's 2 pieces, by the way. But the missing link in this offense is Jamison Williams. The dude
Mm.
is just a difference maker. When you saw our offense spread them out and all the things we can do, whether it's the power of Montgomery, who signed an extension, by the way, whether it's the speed of Gibbs, the speed of Williams, like there was so much to do. The contested catches with Tim Patrick, like
Mm.
there's okay, fine, blitz us. We have receivers up and down that are going to get wide open all over the place.
Yep.
Like JMO was making Diggs, one of the best corners in the league, look slow and
Mm-hmm.
like he couldn't cover. It was
Mm.
fantastic, man. Like maybe the solution is just better offense.
Yeah, dude. Um, I love that. Let me fire up a couple of these for you. I was looking at it was Jerry's birthday, Jerry Jones' birthday. Thank you
Yeah,
so
happy
much.
birthday, Jerry.
Yep. Yeah, I was worried that I think because it really became real in that first half. It was like, man, we look good. This is what we thought. We were building up towards this. There was kind of no surprises in the way that we were playing and the way that, man, you see Montgomery is fully bought into this power back thing. What I
Yep.
mean by that is he's like, I break tackles. That's kind of my thing now. And I think it's always been there, but I mean, Montgomery, gee whiz. And then Gibbs is like, all right, watch what I do when I get in here. I'm fresh as can be. I've been sitting over there for the last 15 minutes. Watch this. So
Watch what I can
all of a
do.
sudden you're looking and you're like, just I think we got this. But we can't have a big injury. I think that's gonna only thing that could derail us some point down the season. And boom. It's like, oh, so that just took the wind out of our sails for sure. So thoughts on that? You were saying you were thinking that as well about the big injuries.
Yeah, I was thinking about the big injuries, and it's like this is just stuff that happens, but this is where your team is tested. I mean, like, look, we saw Green Bay lose their quarterback for a couple games, right? Like, I know it's not a season. I know it's not a season, but every really good team has a major injury that hits them
Mm-hmm.
at some point. I'm not happy it happened early in the season, but I'm telling you right now, we have a better chance to win a Super Bowl if that injury happens now than if we lose Hutch in the second playoff game. And
Right.
then or right before the playoffs start. Let's go with that one. Right before and now all of a sudden you're like, what are we doing? So yeah, we need to stay healthy. I just feel like there's enough depth that we can withstand some of these things. Unfortunately, it was at a place that we don't have a ton of depth.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
And I like this. You were saying this too, Craig. I don't think it benefits us to just bring in a guy,
No,
a
not
name that's
immediately.
on the trade block. I think that this team is built in a certain way, and just to bring an outsider, like, hey, yeah, fill his shoes. I think we can see how we can play before we do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see what we got. Let's see if there's anybody that's doing some things. Uku came in and played really well.
Mhm.
Trevor Nowaski showed his versatility. We know he's a freak athlete already. I'm not saying these guys are consistent finishers, but we have a lot of guys that we can rotate that can do different things, right? Whether it's on Wuzurike, whether it's
Yep.
Pascal, right? I mean, there's other guys in there that can do some serious things. I don't think that you need to just immediately go, all right, we got it. All right, hit the panic button. Let's go. No, it's not that. There's
Um,
this is a good defense. Relax. We might still
random.
be a better defense than we were last year, even
Oh,
without Hutch. Do you agree with that?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And you know why? And this brings me to my point I was just going to say, and I'm going to try to tie this in. Who cares if I do? You know, when I random thought is with the second I saw that they had Owarie on their team, I was like, oh, okay, we're
Mhm.
gonna we're gonna win. And sure enough, he's getting burnt left and right. The big Tim Patrick throw that was on him. I mean,
Mhm.
so to your point, I think our defense has been so bad. We've been trying to figure it out for so long and just kind of, gosh, it never feels quite right. I think the defense is much better than we think. And yes, we gave up a lot of points to the Seahawks,
Yep.
but even that, so basically the defense has been playing good. Even that Seahawks game, the defense has been playing good. This isn't a one-time, man, defense looks good today. It was that they've been playing good and they're much better than they've been in a long time. And we need to just come around to that more than we have. That's all.
So, this is interesting. So, going into this week, and I get it, like it's a bye week, so it's
Mhm.
going to be a little inflated. We were fifth in points allowed, right? 17th in points scored. But PFF, I don't know if anybody's a PFF person. Chris, you know I don't mind it.
Yeah.
Overall team grades. Our offense graded out as the third best team in the NFL, which is fair. Do you know what our defense graded out as in the first 5 weeks of the NFL season?
Mm-mm.
Number one.
Okay.
That's nuts. Like, and I don't know if I mean, like, I know a lot of that is Hutch, right? Because
Yeah.
he's graded out as the number one defensive player in the NFL, number one defensive lineman thus far. But the defense as a whole is full. Think about it. Other than defensive end, which granted is an extremely important position on the defensive side of the ball,
Yep.
right? Like we can all agree with that. But other than defensive end, is there this defense is not weak.
No.
We're good in every single spot. So I'm happy rolling with what we have for now. And yes, maybe you bring in a couple of people that, hey, JJ Watt, come on back.
Right. Throw
You
a
know?
flyer out there. Yep. Yep. Um, I like this one. Let's rally. Will they rally around it? That's what I was saying earlier. I mean, you just never know how we'll react, and you never know the guys that were behind Hutch because he never came off the field. He was a stud. I mean, you just don't know what truly maybe we have.
Right.
But go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying what? Or I'm
Oh
just
yeah, I
saying
was gonna
right.
say.
I was agreeing with you.
Oh, I just want to pull up this box score. That was like, oh okay.
Oh, good. I was looking
Oh,
at
let me.
that. I just didn't pull it up.
Oh okay. The stats are so kind of wacky. It's crazy. But David Montgomery, this is what I love. David Montgomery, Jameer Gibbs, 12 carries each, each over 5 yards a carry. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
What do you, just the running the football, that is going to, it doesn't matter who we play. We can run the ball and control the game offensively. It just feels like we've done it against everybody. The only team we didn't do it against was the Buccaneers for just because we just didn't. We didn't literally run it. We were just trying to throw it.
Yeah.
So can't wait to see
Yeah.
what we can do
Yeah.
there.
The Buccaneers had a horrible secondary, and they do. And we got too one-dimensional on it, right? I
Mhm.
mean, it's really simple. We got too one-dimensional and we didn't run the ball. In this game, we said, nope, we're going to establish the run. We're going to establish the run so we can pass. Jared Goff's like, thank you so much. He has time in the pocket. You can't just blitz like a mad dog. You can't
Mhm.
disguise crazy rushes if you have to defend the run. You can't. You can't pull stunts up on the front of the
That's
line.
right.
And the Cowboys also, quite frankly, were playing shorthanded, right? So, like, this was a perfect matchup for us. But again, this was a perfect matchup for us, and we executed. Like, we have to understand the difference there between what we've done years ago. And I can say years ago now, too, because last year we executed consistently. And even the year before we executed often. Like, it's been really good. And so now the real test is not an injured up Minnesota Vikings team next week. Chris, can I get your thoughts on that for a second?
Yeah.
Can we switch into that? Minnesota Vikings undefeated, coming off a bye. What are you thinking in this game? We don't have Hutch. Like,
It's
what are
at
your thoughts
Minnesota.
on this one?
um,
And while you say that, I'm going to thank Reese
Thank you,
for,
Reese. Yeah.
yeah,
You
appreciate you.
throw us a super chat. Your comments going right on the screen and we're hitting it. Let me just
Yeah, of course.
let me
We'll
talk
we'll
about
talk about what he's asking, but first, give me the Vikings.
the Vikings. I don't know what to think of the Vikings, and because
Yeah, are
unfortunately,
they real?
I truly believe it is real. But remember when it was the Vikings with Kirk Cousins? They were winning a lot of last minute games. There was a lot
Yep.
of flukiness. This feels more complete. It feels
Yep.
like Sam Darnold, I always thought was better than he played in his past. I thought, isn't he good? And it's like, well, yeah, he is. So um I just think it's going to be a great game. I think we're better, and I think that we can run the ball on them. But this is all of a sudden a huge game. The NFC North, you can see, is everybody's elevated, but now we're going to start playing each other, and we're going to
Yep.
start finding some things out.
Yeah. Yeah. So, hey, this is what he said with that. He said, I don't know if it's possible, but we need to pay Ben Johnson and we need to keep him for whatever it takes. It was really funny. I was thinking, like, do we just pay Ben Johnson like he's a head coach right now? Do we
Mhm.
just give him, like, do the Venables treatment? You know how Clemson kept Venables as their defensive coordinator for like a decade before he went to Oklahoma because they just paid him like he was a head coach of
Love
a,
it. Yep.
of a Power 5 school. Can you do that in the NFL? Does that even work?
I I think he's getting paid well, and I think, man, I love it. Just comes down to his mindset. Like at some point, he's gonna just want to do it or not. But
Yep.
right now, he's just like, I just love coaching these guys up. We're rolling. This. My thought before the Hutchinson thing was like, man, just everybody don't forget what you've got here. If you ever forget, go back. You can find it on YouTube. Pick a game from 2014, 15, 2012, and you watch the Lions, and it's just it's so painful. You got Stafford trying his hardest out there. You're making penalties. It's just we are such a different franchise. We're under control. We control the game. All the things. You guys are watching it. It's just so. Just don't take it for granted, because that was just so awesome today. I loved it.
Yeah. All right. Mr. Green is the stuff says, has there been any updates on Hutch? I do have one for us. He is in emergency surgery right now.
Ooh.
And this is not the greatest thing. They're saying they're trying to avoid and prevent Alex Smith like issues. They're worried
Ooh.
about artery and nerve damage and all that kind of stuff. So he's in Dallas right now having surgery.
Okay.
So, yeah, which is, I'm bummed that it happened, on the road, but hopefully, he gets the best medical care and, he can come back. And we've seen a lot of people come back from
Well,
broken legs before.
these are interesting, Craig, because I'm no doctor, but you've seen some of these, especially in basketball. There was the guy that landed. You just see different ones, right? That landed, like, you see these real nasty ones. I guess what I'm saying. Sometimes these real nasty ones, maybe they're an ankle. It's like, oh, that's no problem, and it's just
Yeah.
like no big deal. And it's like, really? And then this nasty one, what Hutch is experiencing is more what you think would happen, meaning emergency surgery. This is like a lot's going on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
there's a lot
wondered about
going on
that.
in there.
Mhm.
And it looks like it's lower on the calf, like on the shin area. You know what I mean? Like it's down there, which a clean break right there, if you get the right surgery and everything is good, like he'll be back and he'll be 100%. It's not like an Achilles where you get back to like 90 to 95%. It's
Right.
not, I mean, we've seen a lot of people come back from a broken leg and continue to do some really good things. So we'll see what happens. It's
It's
hard to
just
talk about anything else, isn't it?
I know.
I mean, we just won 47-9. And this is why we can't have nice things.
Well, and it also makes me realize there's two things I want your thoughts on. And I'm going to give them both to you, and you take a long response as you needed. it's insane to how hard it is to win a Super Bowl. It
Oh,
just
unbelievably hard.
and we keep throwing that around. We're fans. What else are we gonna do? Like, why not? I get it, but just to be like, oh man, we're gonna win Super Bowls our year. It's like, oh, this is incredibly hard with all the injuries, whatever. Second thing, this is a three-parter, Craig. The fact that
Okay.
Tom Brady won how many? Six
6 or 7.
I don't even know. 6 or 7, dude.
Just insane amount of Super Bowls.
Insane. And then the third thing is I was just Tom Brady kind of annoys me, but I was loving it today because he's not great calling games just yet. So he doesn't really know what to do other than to kind of overdo it. And so the Lions were doing so well that he was just pouring on the love to the Lions, and I was loving it.
So
Your thoughts?
that's my question. Like, that's perfect. It's like, what did you think of Tom Brady's first time in the booth? And at first I was like, and it is kind of what I thought, which he's kind of boring. He's almost like Spartan Tony Romo,
Yep.
Spartan brand. And it's interesting listening to him because as he gets more comfortable, it's only like his 4th or 5th game or something, right? 5th or 6th, something like that. And I'm like, okay, I can see what he's doing. And then they had that shot of him getting all pumped up with a play that happened, like just flipping out in the booth and stuff like that. I'm like, this is a dude that just loves football, And so to get him in that element, it's like, all right, that's actually pretty cool. That's pretty cool to see it. And I don't know. I'm not a big Tom Brady fan, which is weird because I love Michigan, right? But I think it's interesting to watch him in the booth. I didn't hate it.
No, it was funny. And it's funny because
Andy said we were the best team in the NFC, by the way.
yeah, thanks, Tom. When other guys talk, you don't want to hear about their days playing almost. It's a little bit of a turnoff. And he's making the mistake by not talking about what he used to do, what he used to think. He's totally because like, dude, what did you think of that? Or what did you do? And he's not doing that. So that's all. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like for him, it's like, no, I want to hear. He did that on 1 or 2. He's like, what I liked, and he's like, if I want to throw it right here, and he's talking about, I'm like, yes, give me that, because you might be the greatest brain to ever play football.
Yes,
as from a quarterback position. Let me know what you did. Whereas if I got Jesse Palmer out there, like him as an announcer, by the way. But I do, and he was a good college player, but I'm not necessarily like, hey, this is what I like, this is what I'd want to see. And I'm just like, okay, Jesse Palmer, or some of the other guys that are out there.
Yep.
Still, worst announcer I've ever heard. Does anybody come to mind for you or no?
Worst announcer
you've ever heard?
I don't know.
For me, it's really easy. It's Aqib Talib.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's like, it's your turn to talk, and then he would it was hilarious.
I remember. Yes. Brian Branch. Hello. Is he good at football or?
Yeah. Is he adjusting to safety, you think, or are him and Kirby Joseph? Okay. Can I ask you a question? And I will ask the people, please lay your comments out there. Are Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph the best safety tandem in the NFL?
Ooh. Brian Branch, love everything about him. For me, the story, if you talk about safety, tandem is Kirby Joseph. He looks a little bit bigger than he did. He looks bigger, faster, stronger. He just is way better than I thought he was going to be. I thought he was just going to be the kind of the thinner guy that wasn't going to hit interception. I mean, that's more than that from a safety. He's like, oh, I'll do it all then. It's like, okay, he's good. So I think so. They're doing really well.
Yeah, they're doing really, really well. I know they got a good older combo in Atlanta, and they have some good safety combos in places. But like right now, they are playing like they're the best safety duo. And by the way, this is coming from an earlier and worst announcer, Matt Millen. No, you have that mistaken. His announcing was fine. He was the worst GM of all time. All right.
But he's just the worst. Then same with Bill Belichick has a podcast on YouTube, and it's like, I would love to watch this. It's with Matt Patricia, and it's the worst.
Bye.
Yep, can't watch it.
Goodbye. By the way, maybe an unpopular opinion here. When Bill Belichick pops on to join the Manning cast, I I think I might just start switching over to Troy and Buck
Mm-hmm.
because watching I mean, he has a couple of good zingers in there, when he gets angry, when Taylor Swift gets shown on the screen and stuff like that. But like for the most part, it's just really awkward silences.
Yes, and Reese had a super chat. Maybe one day the refs will let a lineman touch the ball. Wow, that
Yes.
was yeah. Reese, and
Just combine those words,
wow, a Willie Matala touch the ball. I know. Uh, Craig, speaking of that, here's what I'm shocked. I was who do you like more? Nick Saban and all that his TV appearances on the college side, or Bill Belichick and him
Saban,
showing up?
not even close.
Yeah, not even close.
Not even close, because Saban has the ability to, um, even though he is arrogant, even though he is cocky, he has the ability to still be somewhat entertaining. And like, he's the kind of person that you're like, yeah, man, I could listen to you talk for a really long time.
Yeah.
Whereas with Bill Belichick, I'm like, do you hate yourself? And I kind of hate myself when I'm listening to you because
Yes,
I'm just gonna
because you
talk
did
like
it, man. You did it. He looks a little less healthy too. It's like,
oh yeah.
go just
Ooh.
chill. And he's just in there dissecting a 4th and 2. And you're like, dude, you really, holy crap, you really do love this stuff. So let us know in the comments. This is the question, I think, Craig, and I'll love for you to revisit it one more time, is do you trade for a defensive end? And let's just we've got a Super Bowl roster. Let's go get a guy, or do you let it play out a couple weeks and see where we're at? Let us know in the comments. Go get somebody, no questions asked. Trade whatever you got to, or let's roll with what we got.
Yeah. And my answer to that is
Yep.
roll with what we got and see what you can do. A defensive end is not like trading for a quarterback. You can plug and play a defensive end almost immediately. He
Yep.
can get to your place, he can get a couple practices, and he can play 50% of the snaps the next week.
Yep.
By the second game, he can be out there for 70 to 80% of the snaps. If he's Hutchinson, apparently 90. But like, he can get out there, he can play a lot more.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. I'm interested to see if some of these teams fall off. If the Cincinnati Bengals lose to the Giants tonight, right? Is Hendrickson available? The Raiders, they got slaughtered, right, by the Steelers. Are they dumb enough to let Max Crosby walk along with Devontae Adams? Like, I'm just curious to see what some of these teams, if they continue to struggle, will do with some of their elite defensive line talent.
And you make a great point there, Craig. If we pick up the phone and call the Raiders right now, the Raiders are like, oh, obviously you're desperate. That's going to be six first rounders. Well, let's let it go a couple weeks. Let's let the Raiders call us and be like, hey, you got, like we're 1-9. We need to do something or whatever before the trade deadline. So there's a leverage play too of like, let's just let this roll out. Let's make sure. And also too, I don't know, maybe if I'm overthinking this, but you just said it, man. We got Aiden Hutchinson in emergency surgery right now. And to go trade for somebody, it just feels like let's just let the team roll for a minute and we'll figure this
Let's
out.
let the team see if they can do it without him. Let's give them the opportunity. Let's give the opportunity. I know that sounds weird. This is professional sports. That sounds like more of a college football type situation that I'm saying. But like, let's let this team see if they can do it. And if they can't, it'll become obvious what we have to do.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah.
Switching gears, I want to know your thoughts on this. I find it so funny because you made the comment that was perfect about Jake Bates. This guy has the same odds whether he's kicking a 30-yarder or a 60-yarder, which
He really does.
if you really think about it, you're like, that's good or no, I don't like that. So
I don't know.
the extra points, his ability to miss the upright by an inch every time is pretty crazy.
It is nuts. And here's the thing. He's kicked multiple field goals from the right hash, and they're all dead square down the middle.
Yes.
But he kicks all of his extra points from the left hash. And it's like, hey man, you might want to move over.
You're
like, you're better with the pull,
And here it felt like right before Hutchinson got injured, it was like, oh my gosh, the roster is complete. Tim Patrick, you are going to be the guy. And
he is.
That's how it was starting to feel. And we're rolling. So that's why I think there's so many things that led up to the Hutchinson injury. It was not just that he got hurt. Obviously, I just think we were seeing it with our eyes, man. This defense, everything was coming together. So that's and Patrick's a big reason for that.
And I do want to remind everyone, we have $34 million in cap space available. So, like going out and trading for a player, you're giving up capital. You have Brad Holmes, who can just pick up people at any position, apparently at any moment.
Yeah.
Like, it's been smart. Like, we do have cap space available.
Yep. So there's options. I just think the trade for Matt Crosby is just it's not really going to
How much does that cost you, though?
3 first rounders. I mean,
I would never do that.
Right. There's no way they're going to, that's their only thing they've got left. I don't know. It's hard to imagine they get rid of him for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The only thing that's nice about his contract is he has 3 more years on it. So there's only like a 1 year overlay between him and Hutch that would happen there. So it can be kind of that in between moment. But by the way, if we did make a trade for one of those guys and then next year Hutch comes back, oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh. And
just insanity.
Tibia for Hutch. Tibia has just been a tweet 1 minute ago.
Is that what it is?
Yes. I don't know. Gosh, that's another thing. The assumption that these guys, doesn't matter what the injury, it's like, oh, he'll be back 2 to 3 weeks or whatever. If you've ever been injured, I know we're not professional athletes. I know we're not getting around the clock care. I get it, but nothing's as guaranteed, especially my whole point is, especially in a major injury. Like it's not easy to just, oh, he'll be back next year or whatever. It's like, man, we just got to see what these next 24 hours hold for him and be thinking about him, praying for him for sure.
Yeah. And it was Aleem McNeil that hurt him.
Dude, Aleem McNeil's just sacks left and right and played out of his mind too today. Oh, yeah. Crazy, man.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Wow. Maybe with no complications. We can't possibly know yet.
No. And you put it perfect. There's so much to talk about in this game. We could talk for hours, but it does feel like it is the only thing to talk about is Hutch.
Which just sucks because we could talk about the fact that Jared Goff, after a slow start to the year, has now had back-to-back games where it's like, I don't think I've seen him play better back-to-back games. We can talk about how the running back combo of Gibbs and Montgomery has never been stronger, and it's now in place for the next 3 years, like this year and 3 years after that, right? Like we have so many good things that we can talk about, and we're just talking about the tib of Hutchinson.
Oh, the tib. Terry and Arnold, the defense, just the defensive philosophy. We've been saying it, Craig, and it's fun that we even get a chance to look at it. And that is, we've been up on teams so many times here in the last year or so.
Yeah.
Not so many times, but enough to say that the prevent defense model is completely gone. It's for us anyway, and I think it's the right way to do it. How many times
you say that now? Wait until Hutch is gone.
Yeah, but you let teams come back right to and that usually they can't, right? They run out of steam and it does work, but it's like Hail Mary, right? At the end or something. This is just like, let's play this. We go into halftime. Let's play it like it's 0-0. That's exactly what we did. I think it's the right way to play it. And another thing too, I was happy to see that nobody was like, he shouldn't have been in there. We were up 33-6.
Yeah, thank you for not saying that. It was the third quarter.
It was the third quarter, and it's just like, you got to play. What are you going to do? Just exactly. So
yeah, anyway, they had that stop and maybe one more, and then they would have been getting them out of there.
Yep.
And still, I mean, he was on pace for so many sacks. He was going to have so many sacks this year.
I mean, even Strahan was mentioning like rooting for him to break his record.
Yeah, that's the thing you have to say.
Yeah, but
no,
he
you're not
out of nowhere. He was just like, man, he could, or he said he's even at a bye and he's got 2 more sacks than everybody else in the league after.
Yeah. Yeah, and like, nobody. Like, let's be honest. Do you think Strahan really wants him to break his record?
Well, he said that way people will stop asking me if anyone will break my record.
Yeah,
was this whole
because
point. Yeah.
oh, yeah, that sucks, I would
Mhm.
hate that. Is it hard having
Yeah,
the
yeah,
most dominant season ever in
yeah.
NFL history? Do you think Peyton Manning gets sick of people asking him, "Hey, do you think anybody's gonna beat your touchdown record?" You know?
Was it 55?
I think it was 55, 56, something like that. Just absolute insanity.
Unbelievable.
In
47.
16 games, remember that.
Yeah, yeah, right, right. Oh my gosh. 47-9.
55.
Oh, I was just
You
saying
were
the
right.
score again. Yeah, I
50
don't
right.
even know.
So 47-9. Dude, this is good. We can get out of here. Watch
Yep.
some Sunday night. Watch some Sunday night football. Hendrickson might be our next defensive end. Maybe hope the Giants beat the Bengals, I guess, so that they go to
Yep.
1-5 and they have to start shedding pieces. And we'll kind of go from there. But replace a hardworking white guy with another hardworking white guy.
That's right. Dude,
And
when last thing, when everyone started to come out to him, I was like, "Don't do that. You guys don't need to do that. Everybody just go to the sideline. We don't he's fine, guys. Don't."
you
And they're
see
just
CeeDee Lamb like crying.
yeah. I
And
I'm
and
like,
I
"Don't."
and I get it to an extent, like, it's you're going to war and you hate to see the reality of how messy it can actually get. So, here's a story. Hudson, my son, loves Hutchinson. He is going for Halloween as Aiden Hutchinson,
Mm,
and he comes down, and, he was playing with friends, and he's eating dinner, and Hutch breaks his leg, and Hudson, my son, for just, like 30 minutes. It's like, I can't believe he broke his leg. He's only 6. He doesn't even know really what it means. But he's like, so what? He's not going to play anymore? I'm like, not this year, buddy. Sorry. But then he remembered he has his Gibbs jersey on. So he was happy again.
oh, okay.
He's like, oh, my second favorite player is still playing, right? I'm like, yeah, man. He's still playing.
Mhm. And well, you bring oh yeah, we could just let's get out of here. This is great. Let's just
Hey, everybody. Thanks so much, as always, for all the support. Love everybody hanging on here. Love going live.
yep.
Thank you for allowing this hobby to become something that helps provide for our families. This is great. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you guys. We'll see you soon.
See ya.
See you.